Hey, good afternoon. Good afternoon. I'm here to drop some more content. Um, what I'm going to drop today is like more of like a controversial subject. I'm not really going to go in too deep about this case because the case hasn't been adjudicated yet, and this is a pending case. And um, you know, I'll be able to give my 2 cents once the case is done and over with. But as administration of justice student, pending law student, we have to do certain discussions on current topics in the legal field. So one of my 6-page papers I just wrote is regarding the Carmelo Anthony case. As you can see here, this is a screenshot of one of the papers I just wrote. And I found an interesting article that I wrote on, and I'm going to break this article down to you in the layman's terms and give you guys a little bit of history on some of the wording that this um, publisher wrote. So this article was written by Dr. Allison Wiltz, and the article title is Why White Americans See Black Self-Defense as Ultimate Violence. And I'm going to break this article down, and I'm going to share some insight with you. Um, so the first sentence of this article is self-defense is a natural reaction to danger. Yet in America, many expect black folks to turn the other cheek. So let me break that down to you. The reason why white America, we're not going to say America, we're going to say white America. The reason why white America wants the black man to turn the other cheek is because if you guys read the slave Bible, turning the other cheek was one of the scriptures that was pretty much driven into the minds and hearts of slaves. And the reason why they so big on um, blacks and slaves turning the other cheek is because they want you to continue being abused. They want the black man, especially and the black woman, to just while in America to just be abused, and your Lord and Savior is going to come and save you. And that's what white America is used to. They tend to throw Christ and the Bible in the faces of black men and black women. Say, hey, well, if you're believers of God, then you should be following what God said. So if someone attack you, you need to turn the other cheek. Basically, what they saying is we want you to be a punk. We want you to be the easy target. They don't want you to defend yourselves, because if you look at the stand your ground laws in multiple states, um, it's always something when it comes to the black man when he defend himself. They look at that as a form of violence, even though that law is not race specific. Everybody have the right to self-defense. But when you live in a country that believes that the black man should just be everybody's punk and we should turn the other cheek just because the Bible says, that's what the culture of white America that is imposed on black men. Now let's go with justifiable homicide. Now another thing that was very interesting in this article, I'm gonna read it for you, and it quotes: when the shooter is white and the victim is black, the rate of justifiable homicide is 34%. Yet when the races are reversed, the rate of justifiable homicide falls to only 3%. Now, let me tell you the reason why the justifiable rate when it comes to the black man being the victim and the white man being the shooter is so high. We have a lot of white men that practice systematic white supremacy, and that's arrogant, that believes that they can do what they want to do when they want to do it to unarmed innocent black people. That's why the rate is so high. Actually, I did a study. Actually, I did some research. Like I said, I did a study, but I did some independent research amongst when it comes to justifiable homicide, when it is involving white and black men when it comes to white men and other races. African Americans is the highest rate when it comes to justifiable homicide when the white man is the shooter, out of all other ethnicities. And the reason why it's only 3% when the black man is the shooter and the white man is the victim, because we don't believe in just killing people and getting away with it. When you look at majority of the district attorneys, 96% of the district attorneys are white. When you look at the judges, over 90% of the judges are Caucasian as well. When you look at the jury pool, you're going to get majority of those individuals are white. So white men that think that they can just kill unarmed innocent black men, they look at it like, well, we can do what we want to do when we want to do it, and they're going to get, in 9 times out of 10, it's going to be considered justifiable homicide. Now, as black people, the reason why the numbers are so low is because we know if we was to act, if we was to kill and it's justifiable, we already know how the outcome is going to be dealing with these white judges, this white jury, and these white prosecutors. We already know that they're going to try to find a way to, convict us of murder. But when you look at the statistics of white men being the shooter and the black man being the victim, it's like they have the judges and prosecutors in their pocket. That's why the rate is so high. And let's go with another part of this article that I found that was very, very interesting. It's another thing that was in the article was, and it quotes, "It's common for society to portray black people as more violent than other racial groups. This in turn activates the assumption that they are the aggressors when circumstances arise." Now, another thing that was interesting in the article was this explains why white people are less likely to see black people's self-defense claims as reasonable. The reason why he said that is because it's like we're not allowed to self-defend ourselves. When you look at, speaking of the Trayvon Martin case, and it quotes this in this article, at the trial, defense attorney portrayed Trayvon Martin, the victim of crime, as the scary black man. This was an effort to justify the killing of an unarmed teenager. And the reason why that quote right there in this article is so important is because majority of the time when black people are victimized by a form of racism, when it has to do with white people or just anybody, they try to portray black men as the boogeyman. We are the aggressors. We are the ones who are the angriest. They portray that as a selling point to American society. And what they want to do is they want to keep as many people away from black people as possible. So what we're going to do is we're going to kill their character. What a lot of these attorneys and judges and prosecutors don't realize is that they don't never say anything about other ethnicities provoking black people. They don't mention that, we are being bullied. They don't mention that, we were called the N-word. They don't mention that, we were stalked. Look at Trayvon Martin, he was stalked. They don't mention these things, but they quick to mention that the black man is the aggressor. He's the scary black man. He's the boogeyman, because what they're trying to do is let's kill the character of the black man to make him as worse as possible. So when we exterminate the black man, it'll be like, oh, well, we need to get rid of him anyways. I call it legal defamation of character. They want as many people to not side with the black man as possible. So how they do that is they do that by lying and by provoking and bullying so they can get a negative reaction, so they can go cry foul and play the victim role to their white judges and their white prosecutors and their predominantly white jury. That's what it's all about. They want to provoke black men and black women to act in anger so they can turn around and say that he's the reason why, these things is going like this, so they can build more prisons, so they can lobby for more funding for the Department of Justice. They're using provocation and fear mongering and creating a black man as a boogeyman to get laws passed so they can make it seem like, well, if black people weren't here, and if black people weren't so violent, this world wouldn't be as it is. But really, we already know who the number one violent driver is in the United States of America. So to deter you from that, we're going to blame the black man for being angry. We're going to blame the black man for being the scary black man. We're going to blame the black man for being the boogeyman, because we want everybody to disregard the black man. So when we legally exterminate the black man, we're going to make it seem like it's his fault. It's his fault that there is violence in this world. It's his fault that there's so much anger going on in America. But really, they provoke black men and then they go cry foul to their judges and prosecutors. And let's go with another part of this article that was very, very interesting. Now, and it says, and I quote, "All to portray them as promiscuous and garner support for the alleged perpetrator. Ultimately, the jury, which comprised of 5 white women and 1 Latino, returned a verdict of not guilty in the Zimmerman case." Well, look at that. Majority of the jury pool were white women. So when you have a district attorney that is selling the image of a black man as the aggressor or the scary black man, as he quoted in trial, that is going to hit different towards the jury. Now, the jury and other people that was watching this high-profile case is going to look at black men as, oh, well, they're all violent. They're all angry. They're all the aggressors. So, and this was a national televised case. So when they do that, they really want to kill the character of the black man to make us look worse than what we are, so they can get away with systematic white supremacy. Now, another part, this article that was very, very interesting, and it talks about the Carmelo Anthony case. It says another case that highlights this skewed public perception would be the recent tragedy in Frisco, Texas, involving 2 17-year-old student athletes. Carmelo Anthony, a black teenager, allegedly stabbed Austin Metcalf, a white teenager, following a dispute in the bleachers at the track meet. When he was arrested, he notified law enforcement that this was self-defense. Now, we don't have footage. This case is still going on. It hasn't been adjudicated yet, so we're just going to just leave it at that. Another part of the article that was very interesting was, it says, but in Texas, someone can defend themselves under stand your ground laws. A jury must review the facts and rely its opinion on legal culpability. But in a society where black people are assumed to be dangerous, race will likely play a role in shaping the outcome of this high-profile case. What the author mean by that is, they're going to take the legality out of the complex, and they're going to try to make it seem like, well, the victim was a white person, so stand your ground shouldn't matter. The perpetrator or the suspect allegedly is a black person, so we already know that they're gonna make race out of this, and we already know how they feel about the stand your ground laws when it comes to black men and black women self-defending themselves. We already know that they're going to majority have a white jury looking at this. You already know that they're going to say, well, we need to feel sorry for the white teenager, and they're going to go back to the Trayvon Martin case and how they perpetrate the black man as the boogeyman. And like I say, I don't know what's going to go on. I don't predict the future, but race is going to play a major role in this, because they look at stand your ground should only be for white people only. And let's go with another part of this article. That's very, very interesting. All right, let's go with this part of the article. It says, white protesters will often spit on or assault peaceful black protesters. A natural reaction to this will be to fight back, but the organizers taught protesters not to respond to provocation. Now, the reason why a lot of these organizers are teaching, let's say, black people not to retaliate against getting spit on and kicked and all that type of nonsense that goes on in this country is because they already know that, it's a form of provoking. It's a form of antagonizing black people. They want a negative reaction so we can react, so they can go cry foul to their judges and prosecutors. They want to continue to get away with just looking at black people as just someone that's an easy target. We're nothing but an easy target to them. They have no respect for us. And this has been an ongoing thing. When you look at what was going on during the civil rights movement in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, they used to water hose black people, sick their dogs on black people. There's been black people been spit on in restaurants. Of course, we know about the black only and white only sinks and bathrooms, etc. This being spit on and getting dogs sicked on and hosed and being provoked. It's been an ongoing thing because they know that they got the judges and prosecutors in their pockets. So what these organizers is teaching people to do is just turn the other cheek. And we bought into that narrative. We've been brainwashed that, we have to die in order for us to receive some type of vengeance or some type of form of justice. And other races, they not living by those standards. If something happened to these other races, they're defending themselves because they have the right to defend themselves. But these organizers say, you know what, despite you being pissed on and spit on and assaulted black people, we're going to teach you to not do anything about that. And to me, that's wrong. So I just wanted to just bring that to your attention about this article. Let's see if there's anything else that was very, very interesting about this article. But that's about it. But I just wanted to just give you my opinion on this article. I'm going to drop the link to this article by Allison Wiltz in the description. I want you guys to check out this article, and it's going to look like this. I've seen it also on MSN as well. You guys have a nice afternoon.